It's the 4th of the 9th, 2022, and my upload today with regard to the documentary that shares about the human rights abuses, the property theft, the hate crime, the constitutional offences that I've experienced. All of those matters that I've contended with up to now are just a little bit irrelevant in this current upload that pertains to individuals that have been not of just the identity theft and the hate crime, but of the professional and creative intellectual property theft as well. I'm smiling. I'm smiling because I'm a recovery advocate. I represent sanity and sobriety. I'm a qualified professional in a community that's disrespecting royalty and my child's upbringing. And since 2003, there have been individuals in this community that have been imposing upon my anthropological, philanthropic interests as a graduate of language and cultural studies of the University of Limerick. So these people since 2006, 2003 really, have been of creative intellectual property theft, and in recent times they've been of baby theft of a beautiful child I gave birth to in 2015. So that's a quite serious matter. They're working on my properties, and that's part of my professional identity as well. They're conducting very big efforts to be of my identity. I'm so concerned for their mental health issues. So they're disrespecting COVID and Brexit work that came about as a consequence of me in 2018. This community has been benefiting from my name for quite a while, and they abused those benefits with fraud and theft from other people's lives and defamation of other people's lives, as well as my life that they've disrespected also, and my child that they've disrespected. The issue of these people that have been imposing upon me, it's very invasive. It's really invasive. Like people like stepping over lines, property, personal, even professional, really embarrassing. I'm wondering what their pastime is. I'm wondering what their profession is. I'm wondering what their competency is. They've disrespected women and children's rights. There have been women putting themselves on the line for this initiative, and they've disrespected women and children's lives. So I'm really concerned about the level of casualties that have come around and about. As I've said, I'm a recovery advocate, and there have been individuals that have been imposing upon my advocacy work, claiming to be harmonising. These people have done nothing but the very opposite and caused very dangerous disharmony to nature and to my ancestral farms and my family unit of royalty. So they have a very disturbed mentality, perspective, approach, etc. They're obstructing me. They're living off my wealth. They don't think it's unsafe that they owe debts. They're living off my wealth, and they don't seem to think it's unsafe that they're spreading themselves very thin to disrespect the universe, nature, the great reality. And these people have caused untold damage, and they've caused huge obstruction for me as well. So I communicate to everyone via the YouTube, but that's been interrupted with as well, with a bit of alteration and editing. So these people that have disrespected faith and family and that are in my proximity have shown me that they are so unqualified. They're not happy, obviously, with what their own mothers gave birth to. They're not happy or pleased with what they have been born with. They have to cause problems with other people's personal lives and the law and the state, to cause crimes against the state and to disrespect the legislation that I initiated and brought about as a consequence of my purpose. To disrespect that's quite dangerous, and the fact that they've deluded themselves so much to think that they don't owe any money, that's quite serious. The state owes me a debt, and it's not addressed yet. That's quite dangerous. That's a human rights abuse I'm experiencing, and my role as a mother has been intercepted upon as well. That's all very dangerous. So these people have been of creative intellectual property theft. I've many interests. I have I think, served most of Gardner's intelligences, fields of intelligence. I wouldn't say I'm a Renaissance woman, but I have many expertise. As I've said, I'm level 9 on the national framework, and I have a clean track record. So there are people that have been quite dissatisfied, obviously, with their own identity and with what their own mothers have given birth to with them, that they have to intrude upon my profession and practices. And I don't mean to sound condescending, but that's the level that these people from neurosis are coming from. That's what imposter syndrome is. That's what identity theft represents. Neurosis of people unqualified that have been disrespectful to other people's lives. So it's not dangerous enough that they're on property where they're not welcome. It's not dangerous enough that they've been conducting unlawful care orders via TUSLA Child and Family Agency. My child is legally a missing person. I've seen him recently, thank goodness, he's alive. I didn't know that. And there are individuals that, as I've said, don't think there's anything wrong with owing me money. So I'm getting a great laugh out of this situation. I'm sanity and sobriety. I live on €208 per week because of individuals that are of the filth of society. That's all they represent. They're like the dirt of society. It's disgraceful. And there are repeat offences. And I'm surprised that any self-respecting individuals out there would even associate or accommodate anybody disrespecting harmony or sanity and sobriety. There have been people's lives put at risk already as a consequence of these people. There are casualties already. So anybody in the United Nations that's heard from me since 2019 that still hasn't approached me and that hasn't honoured their obligations to my royalty, I'm really concerned for any individuals out there accommodating the casualty makers, the casualty problems, the people of casualties and problems. I'm really concerned for you associating yourself and your profession with that. There's a big problem with disrespecting sacred, and there's a disgraceful problem with disrespecting my royalty. So those that aren't qualified or professional enough or competent enough with their own identity, I'm really concerned for you that you have to intrude upon mine. I have a lot of interests, and these people have since 2006 loved the, or 2003, have loved the idea of being scavengers and fongers from my work. So these people, I hope, will understand how unsafe it is to be near my land. And I hope TUSLA Child and Family Agency know how unsafe it is for my child to be from my care, or for any false reporting that disrespects my humanitarian protection. I'm a humanitarian. I'm a trained and qualified humanitarian. I'm a trained and qualified recovery advocate, and I'm a trained and qualified educator. And in the democracy of Ireland, there's a problem with land grabbers and liabilities of crimes against the state. So those not honouring their obligations to my qualifications, my profession, and my work in COVID and Brexit, as I've said, my work has affected the United Kingdom, and that has all been jeopardised and compromised by fraud again. So I'd hate for any self-respecting individuals to put their lives on the line for an unworthy cause. There have been casualties already, and those not honouring their obligations and not being dignified with the progress that has originated with my work. Anyone disrespecting that, I'm concerned for you. So on that note, as a qualified professional property owner, mother, married, I might add, there's a problem, as I've mentioned, in County Kerry of liabilities of the land grab in our Twert and Kilflyn of my ancestors from the 1700s and 1800s. So I hope the relevant bodies will be brave and courageous and be cognizant of the dirty politics policy in the labours of these people's unworthy causes. It's really sad sign of the times in County Kerry. It's very sad. Scandalous.